Okay, guys, so we're out here on the lake. We're looking for the eagles. They're not here. We're killing some time. This is Gerald. He's the new photographer that I met last week, and him and I really hit it off because I feel you just get a vibe from people, right? And Gerald was telling me a story. You guys know I do the Transcending with Gary spiritual series on the channel, and Gerald told me a story that I was like, this is really cool. It falls right in line with what I talk about on my channel. I think this is why. Gerald, would you mind sharing your story? It's a cool...
No, I don't. Yes. Okay. My sister fought her battle of cancer, and then it went to readmission. So she did the walk for cancer at the base and all that. Now a few months later, she got sick again. And then she found out that now her cancer went. She had a tumor, and they could do nothing. So they gave her not too long to live. Now she knew I enjoyed wildlife photography, and she knew I always wanted to get a snowy owl and all that. So she kind of said, "Oh, you'll get one just out of, like," I said, "Okay." So anyways, I did lose her just before Christmas. So I knew that when I was driving that I would spot this snowy owl. And I said, I'm determined to try to get this snowy owl. So then I would go down to the waterfront on Lake Nipissing and then try to spot it and walk out. And first couple times, no luck. And I said, I'm going to go out, bring binoculars. So I started spotting something on the pressure cracks that year, and they were high enough pressure crack. And all of a sudden, there it was. It was flying in, and I got some beautiful pictures. But what I was asking too is, I kind of felt weird, but I was kind of talking out loud to my sister, say, "Hey, you're in heaven now. Could you show me a sign? Could you help me try to find this snowy owl? You know how much I enjoy. I never had a snowy owl." And then there it was. It was starting to show up.
And not only is it important that he's talking to his sister, asking that, but guys, you need to understand that in our area, snowy owls are so freaking rare. You don't see them here every year. Maybe one every 2, 3, or 5 years even. Like, they're very rare. And for him to go out and ask that, and I think it's not a coincidence. There's more to it.
Yes. And then you know what? I spotted it a few times that year, but it wasn't just in like one location on one farmer's post. I was walking on the lake and just kind of looking for it and spotting it and just walking up to it. And some days were long walks on the lake,
yeah.
But it just was so special just to see. And it was a female snowy owl, beautiful bird, and got some nice pictures to go along with it. Yeah,
that is an amazing story, and I believe that there are no coincidences, man. And I think you and I meeting each other and having these same passions and hobbies, I think that's not coincidence either. And you guys are going to see more of Gerald, because him and I are going to get out and chase some more stuff. We haven't had any luck finding any birds today, but the fact that we're out here doing it, that's what the important part is, right?
And sometimes you meet good people and you chit-chat. I think we did more chatting with people today.
Yeah.
But you know what? Some of these people are just nice to let us on their property and that, and just enjoy the sunshine. And we haven't had this winter too much, but yeah.
I can actually feel heat from that sun right now, which is good, it's nice. So anyway, thanks for sharing your story, Gerald.
No problem.
Just got home and saw a couple of packages. This is the lens hood, rubber lens hood that I bought. I'm going to try to fix the 300 2.8 lens with this. I'll show you guys what we're going to do with that in a minute. We also got a whole whack load of these in the mail, lens caps, which I ordered. And then, surprise, surprise, I thought that's not too interesting. But I got home and Hannah signed for a package while I was out. There it is, the new camera. I'm pretty sure A7R5. Let's take a look, see if that's what it is. There it is, brand spanking new A7R5. Yeah, I'm chuckling to myself, guys, because here's my 300 f2.8, which some of you know that the homemade lens hood that I made for it, the base broke. And so I have no way to attach this back onto the lens. And I was thinking, I bought this big rubber hood. And not just to put this on the lens, because that's pretty useless, it's pretty flimsy. But what I thought was, what if we invert this, slide it over the lens this way, and then cut the excess off? I'll show you what I mean. I'm telling you, sometimes I'm genius. This is going to work. Now, how tight? Is it going to be a tight fit? Tighter the better. Okay, so we're going to take this new rubber lens hood. What I want to do is put it on backwards. over the 300. We're going to snug this down. It's a silicone. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm eventually going to cut this off right here. But I want to see how does this fit. Oh, like a glove. Look at that. It's on there tight. That is awesome. That's going to work. That's not going anywhere. Got to be happy about that. I just had a feeling that that was going to work. That is brilliant, if I do say so myself. All I need to do is cut that inside rubber piece off the extra one, and that is on there secure. And I didn't have to spend $150 American. I spent $16 Canadian, and that piece is going to solve that issue for me. I'm stoked. I'm happy about that. Okay, guys, so I had to play with the A7R5 a little bit. I got my 300 2.8 lens out because, you know, we just fixed the hood, and I'm like, let's try it with the new camera. And I'll show you, it is fading light. So it's, 5 o'clock in the evening, almost dark. And the eye autofocus, even with an old adapted mechanical lens like this, guys, I'm getting 5 or 6 shots out of 10 where it's focusing on the eye. So I'll show you guys a couple of little nuthatch shots that I got here in really crummy light. I'm impressed. Hey, good morning, guys. Today you join fevered Gary working in the garage. Yes, I have COVID, but life carries on. The wife threatened to take my truck this morning. She's got to go out of town, so I'm working on Hannah's car. Not because I want to, but because I need my truck later. Look at this. We are so warm. Everything's melting again today. We are out of snow. I actually had to take the snow machine and put it away in the backyard. That does not make me feel good. I literally got 7 kilometers on the snow machine this year, and now we're about to run out of snow, and we're like not even the midpoint in February. I'll show you guys what Hannah did to this car. Well, I say Hannah, but okay, so my first reaction as his dad was, oh my God, this kid's not driving properly. What did she do? She drove into a giant pothole, she told me. But she didn't know it was a giant pothole because it was full of water. So, and then I think back, yes, we've all done that. I've done that myself many years ago learning. You look at the little puddle of water in front of you, you drive through it. Next thing you know, your car's half swallowed. And it's not really her fault. On these Mazdas, this is it's also a 12-year-old car. The rear shock here, I'll flip you around and show you guys the part that's up there. It's basically made to fail. They don't make it out of a very strong metal. It's made out of a white metal. And it's kind of stupid. Here in Canada, everything's covered in salt. I'll show you. So there's the top of the shock, and you guys can see right there, that side is broken off. It's supposed to be on that bolt right up there, and the other side's supposed to be on another bolt up there. Well, both sides have broken off because this is made out of white metal. So there's nothing wrong with the shock. I've checked it, it's not leaking. I will clean it up and do a better check, but I basically need to take it out, take this top white metal off, buy a new bracket. If I can get those nuts off up there, we'll be golden. So I won't bore you guys with this fix. I'll just remind you, you better be handy if you're buying your kids used cars. What'd you say your hourly rate was?
Oh, I'll give you a deal today, $65.
How about a can of beer and lunch?
Oh.
So I was a little bit early for meeting Gerald, so I'm actually driving down the road that I lived on when I was a kid. 40 years ago. man, has it changed. I haven't been out here in a long time, so I'm just gonna drive around and see if there's anything cool and kill 40 minutes until I meet up with Gerald. This road was a dirt road when I was a kid. There was no pavement here, and there were a lot more hills when I was a kid, I can tell you that. On my bike, definitely a lot more hills. Wow, the flood of childhood memories. Things I had long forgotten. Every little swamp that I come to, I'm like, oh, I remember, you know, we used to hike in here. All the woods and the trails and the swamps, those were our homes when we were kids. The barns, we used to play in all the old barns along this road. We just went everywhere, explored everywhere, and like memories I had long forgotten coming back to me. Kind of cool. I suggest if you get a chance to go back to your childhood home or area where you grew up, you know, you're going to remember things you had long forgotten. Well, you can see where the creek runs in that swamp there. It's open. Normally we'd have 3 feet of ice this time of year. Not this year. Yeah, I just stopped at the swamp here. One of my childhood friends used to live up here on a hill, and we used to sleigh ride down his driveway and cross this road and out into that swamp. And the one day, we didn't have a spotter for cars, and he actually got hit by a car. I'd forgotten about that. A lot of memories on this road. Cool adventures and mishaps like that. I'm remembering all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. He was all right. He literally flew 20 feet in the air when the car hit him. But being kids, he bounced, kind of like Gumby. He got right back up, and then he fell over. And then we took him to the hospital. I don't think he had any broken bones, but he was pretty bruised up, and yeah, he was in the hospital for a couple days. We were kids. We had lots of adventures.